Hey now, hey. So I'm sitting here looking at half baked tripping, right? But since like yesterday, I've been going back. I was urged to go back and look at my previous like old videos and stuff, my old footage. And I went back to 2022. And woo wee child, let me tell you what I get out of that. When you're doing shadow work, and I'm thinking about spiritual psychosis, when you're doing shadow work, the thing about that is, now listen to me, because it may help you to understand yourself. You living in today, right? And something happens that triggers an emotion. You get angry, you get frustrated, or something like that. And so you have that real time moment that what made you mad, frustrated, and what it's going to do is trigger memories from your past where you were mad and frustrated. Okay? So with spiritual psychosis, my terminology, my observation of it is it's hard to live in the past and the present. But we really do it all the time because the things that happened to us in our past, the patterns that formed, are still living out today. So it's really symbolic. But it's hard to do shadow work and inner work and live in today too. Your mind is split, and then you're trying to manifest your future. So we've been living in our past, present, and future at the same time, consciously, like growing more and more aware of it every day. And so looking at the video I was just looking at, like I was so focused and intense. I mean, intensely focused on learning about me and the metaphysical and trauma and everything. Oh my gosh, that thing swept me up. I know I was in a portal. I know I was, because I could feel the difference sometimes when I was up high and then when I was down low. I'm like, no, I want to go back. Like on Shazam, the little boy in the car, he was like, no, I want to go back. But you know, he had gave in to the temptation and stuff. It's like, okay, so what I get from this is I was doing the shadow work or the inner child healing. I'm going back to 2022 because my acknowledgement of a spiritual awakening started in 2021. But 2022 was a really good year for me because after I got over COVID, I had this new appreciation for life. And so I was recording everything, okay, all my thoughts and stuff like that. And I was on point. This one video I'm looking at, it don't sound like psychosis, but I really do feel like at some point it got a little crazy in there. But okay, so if you've been intensely doing shadow work, go back to the you that decided to love you. Do you have journal entries? Do you have video footage? Do you have digital notes? Like, go back to the you that first started the journey of self-love. Because now you need to, your neural pathways, you got to connect some things in your mind. Because you've been so far in your past, okay? And I always ground myself in my present because that helped me to get out my head some. Because when you're doing shadow work and you going back to the past, you can get swept up in those emotions and stuff because of, you know, what happened to you then. You have a better grasp on what you experienced. So you could really get caught up in that anger and that frustration and that rage, you know, depending on what the different situations was. So now what you got to do is bring it all together. And what I feel this is causing confusion because some of us want to make a move ahead, but we don't know what the right move is. Because if you like me, you now connect with the way things make you feel. But looking back at me in 2022, everything felt right, perfect. I don't feel like that right now. That's because I've been living in anger and sadness. Because that was a lot of the emotion that I felt throughout, you know, my life, my past and stuff, coming up to my present. So I've been looking at life through that lens as opposed to my normal, happy, joyful lens. So now I gotta refresh myself on my joy. Okay, she been calling me. This bitch been calling me. I appreciate it. Like, she ain't let me stay down in the dark. But I just had to really explain to her, like, I really need to be here so I can understand this part of me. And we really had to work something out. But I gotta tell you, my inspiration, my internal guidance, Okay, it's definitely about it now. After the affirmations, like consistently, like it's continual with affirmations. And it's always good to get back to basics too, because we can get so far away from what started it all. And I feel like what started it all is what will keep us grounded and remind us of our why we started this in the first place. Because we wanted more internal peace. We wanted to get away from the narcissist in our life. It was all about taking care of ourselves. And when we go back through inner child healing and you take accountability for how you were mishandled by like parents or, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, and stuff like that, I just feel like so let down and disappointed. And because I look at me as a parent and how they didn't, but I did. And I understand we different people, but why? And just really hitting a brick wall on that and saying it's just because it was. Like, people, we all are living life at the level of awareness that we are at. And so while my mother skipped some steps, she skipped the beat. There was some spaces she could have really filled in. She didn't because she couldn't. She didn't just sit around and say, I'm going to traumatize my daughter and I'm going to do this. Even my father, like they were young and life is life. And just considering what I didn't know this time last year and stuff and taking it all the way back to like the 70s, like good grief. So it's just like really being in the emotions until you just say, you know what, I'm ready to move on. I have been mad at everybody for everything for a while now, and I'm ready to move on. And that's when you revisit yourself and when you first decided to make changes in your life for the betterment of you. And that should bring it all together, because for me, it is really doing that. Like some things I have forgot. I really forgot how connected I was. Like, really, it separated me. You know what I'm saying? So it separated me from myself. So like really going through that trauma healing, the guidance and stuff. And me, I was working with God and my spirit family. Like I didn't have like physical support for it. But through it all now, I've become that support. And I'm really happy, because going through it with blinders on, that's some wild shit. Because you can get stuck at a wrong turn, because I did. But it was still my process. But what I'm saying is, yeah, it's dead ends down in them places. And instead of you going through it all like over and over and over again, cycling through it, I'm here to tell you, be mad at them, forgive them, forgive yourself, keep on going. You can't change it. I feel your feelings, they are valid. But also remember, you can't go back to the past and change it. So the only thing you can control in the equation is you. And you get to decide how long you in the dark. You get to decide that, not nobody else. So you can stay there as long as you want to. You know what I mean? But if you don't want to, you don't have to. But just make sure you learning about yourself. Okay? Make sure you learning about yourself while you're in them dark places. It's not just about pointing a finger. It's about learning about you, so that as you live life now, you won't make those same mistakes again. You won't allow those same types of relationships and friendships and stuff like that. Your boundaries are going to be rock solid, because you know you don't deserve to be mistreated. That's what I get from that. I didn't deserve to be mistreated. I wasn't the one that was wrong. I wasn't the one that was wrong. If that man cheated on you, you were doing all that you could do. He was the one that was at fault, not you. That sexual abuse, you were the victim. There was nothing you did to deserve that. You didn't call that in on yourself. Relieve yourself of that guilt, that shame, that blame. So, because sometimes older people who's supposed to be responsible for us, they can't take the blame for it. So they put it on you, as though it was your fault. It was not your fault. Okay? It was not your fault. You did not deserve that. You didn't. And let me tell you this too. You are not worth less. You are worthy. And you deserve everything your heart desires. Okay? Little you I introduce little you to you now so that you can really see how far you've come and how much you've overcome. And despite you beat the odds. I like saying that. You beat the odds. All them people said you couldn't. Look at you doing. I like that for you. I like that for me. But I really like it for you. I do. I just feel that way in this moment. I'm so proud of you for all that you've done and how far you've come. I'm so fucking proud of you, okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope this is helpful. All right, I'm going to get back to reviewing myself and seeing what's the what. All right, and if you do the same and you feel like you want to share, you want to be heard, drop me a comment. Let me know how your visit to the most recent past was and how differently do you see yourself now. I would love to know.